Hi guys, I hope we are all okay. It is again a wonderful session that we are meeting. And in our session today, let us discuss about this exciting paper that was introduced by Kasneb. And this is a very practical paper being done at advanced level. And we are all familiar, it will be a part, it will be actually compulsory paper for students who are advanced level to undertake that paper. Business and data analytics paper. This is a paper, a very practical paper that at least it will give accountants skills before they are released to the market, because many a times it's always like accountants are used to too much theory work, right? So that when they come outside here, you'll find that it is very challenging for them to handle some tasks. So I really thank Kasneb for doing this for accounting students, more so this professional, right? So basically, I want us just to dissect this business and data analytics paper and see what will be expected to cover. I know by now, majority of you have been told that this one is just maybe normal Excel, but I want you to know that this paper is more of Excel, is more of advanced Excel, because advanced Excel will just be part of what you'll be required to understand or to handle when it comes to business data and analytics. So at this point, you'll find that it has comprised several components, which you just have to be good. So first stage is that you must be very good in Excel and advanced Excel. Also, in addition to that, you'll also be required to understand some various analytical tools. Like also at this stage, you'll also be kind of introduced, or you should be very good when it comes to the aspect of Python, which will enable us to kind of analyze some data in one way or the other. So at this point, let me just take you through what you'll be expected to cover on this practical paper. So I'll wish you guys to be very tentative, because I know majority of the students in more so, this is the first time that this paper is going to be done and the first time that this paper is going to be taught. I know majority of the students will be messed up. Some of you will go and learn just basic Excel. Maybe some of you will say, or rather you learn basic Excel, now when it comes to exams, you just see your own things, right? So at this point, I want you to have this, as much as even, maybe as much as you not study with Mdarasa in this practical paper, whatever college that you're going to study, make sure that you have these basic concepts. So basically, these are what you'll be having. First of all, let us analyze the whole component of the data analytics. So as I've shared, that is a practical paper, CPA practical paper, one of its kind to be introduced. So at this point, you'll find that we have this paper, which amongst the general objective of this paper, which it will be very key, and it will really assist you as an accounting student. You'll find that first thing first, you'll be required to understand how to prepare and analyze financial statements. And remember, whenever you're talking of analyzing financial statement, it's not the theory that you know. In this case, you're going to go deeper into that, right? You'll also be required to estimate cost and do costing for products, carry out break-even analysis. I know majority of you, maybe from your knowledge of management accounting, the one that you've been doing under CVP, you are all familiar on how to do this on paper. But what about if you are given in a practical environment? How will you be able to handle that? So you'll find that this course, or rather this unit, will enable us to understand some of the practical area of break-even point analysis and how is it applied in the real world, in the business situation. So you'll find that that is very key. We're also talking about aspect of us doing budgets and carry out variance analysis. Any organization will be required to have budgets. And at this point, it is a duty of management accountants to analyze all these concepts. And that's why you'll find that now, practically, if you go to these organizations, many of them, they don't have management accountants. They have financial accountants, but not management accountants. At times, we can't blame this organization. It is because of lack of knowledge, skills, and expertise on what we are producing in the market. This is what will lead us to have very minimal management accountants. But with the introduction of this unit, the practical part of it, I believe it will assist to solve this problem at some point, which will be very, very key. So we also have aspect of computing tax for individuals and companies. At this point, I know we are pro when it comes to theory, but what about practical part of it? Are you able to compute these things practically? So basically, these are what you'll also be dissecting when it comes to this unit of business data and analytics. So we're also having aspect of demonstrating knowledge of financial mathematics, evaluate long-term capital projects, and advise on their viability, apply an analytical mindset to decision making. Basically, all these are the objectives, which ideally I can share with you after this video to make sure that at least you have a clear understanding on what will be expected to cover, or the main objective. Why are you studying? Or rather, why this is not only studying, why are you training business data and analytics? So that is what will constitute there. So you'll find that at this point, it will be very important that you incorporate the knowledge that you had studied earlier on when it comes to financial accounting, financial reporting, management accounting, financial management. All this knowledge, you have to incorporate them very, very well. So going into the content on what will be expected to cover at the end of this course, which in this case, you'll find that is going to entail, the first segment is us understanding the aspect of financial accounting practically. This is financial accounting and reporting, whereby you'll be required to prepare the financial statements of a sole trader, partnership, you're having a company group with a single subsidiary and associates. Remember at this point, my good students, you're not doing it aspect of, you're not doing it theoretical, but you are doing it practically, meaning that at this point, at any given point in time, by the time you're doing this paper, you just have to equip yourself with laptops. You just have to equip yourself with laptops, or if you're having PC at your place, that is very okay. You can do this on phone, right? For you to get a practical understanding, you can do this on phone. You just have to invest on either your PC or in this case, you have to invest on your laptop. This is a point whereby you'll find that you'll be having a very clear and a good environment for you to train this unit. So looking at aspect of us understanding the financial accounting and reporting, you'll find that it will comprise of the following items. Of course, analyzing financial statements, whereby you'll have to compute ratios. All this, basically, it is a general knowledge of Excel, first of all. And at this point, a little bit of advanced Excel whenever you're talking about analyzing financial statements, because in analyzing financial statements, other than graphs, you should also be very good when it comes to using the pivot tables, which will really, really assist us to analyze all this data that we are looking at this point. So it will be very key that even by the time you are starting this concept, at least you have a knowledge in what? You have a knowledge in basic Excel as well. It is very, very important. Then now we're also having financial predictive model. At this point, you'll be using various tools. And that's why Mwalimu was saying that it's not only aspect to do with Excel, because at this point, you'll find that anytime you're talking about that one will also cover the other bit you're talking of the accounting data analytics, which in this case, it will be very important for us to so you'll find that at this point, whenever we're talking about aspect to do with maybe to do with carrying out sensitivity scenario analysis for certain activities, you will find that it will be very key to understand some of the key items when to understand some of the key items like data architecture, talk about the linear regression. At this point, you're going to apply your knowledge of bit of SQL and maybe aspect of text analysis. We normally tend to talk about predictive analysis. We have so many tools which we normally tend to use anytime we'll be looking at the aspect of sensitivity analysis. The same concept, you'll find that it will also fall under regression principles and regression output interpretation. So on this case, anytime we are talking about regression output interpretation, you'll find that the concept of Python is always very key, because it is on Python, bit of Python programming will really assist us on this. And right now, I believe you're all familiar with the concept to do with machine learning. So these are the concepts that you just have to incorporate. That's why whenever I'm talking about is not only about advanced Excel, you'll find that this concept is so wide. So we won't be going deep into the whole of these concepts, but rather we'll just be given a bit of understanding, or rather let me term it as a basic foundation of this. Then you dig deep just a little bit, not further, when you're talking about aspect of data visualization. This is in our world, we normally term it as data viz, right? In regard to data viz, we'll find that there are some various components which you just have to be good on that. For you to analyze data appropriately, there are some key concepts that you just have to be good on that. Then on that case, you're talking about aspect of financial models optimization. Financial model is now purely bit of advanced Excel, where you're given a data you want to either come up with, you want to forecast, for example. You're having your data, in this case, very huge data. You're not looking at small organizations. You're having organizations whereby the data bank is kind of so huge, and you need to analyze this data. You'll find that at this point, you can't do them one by one. You have to devise a method which will enable you to analyze your data very quickly and very, very effectively. So that one thing, to minimize a lot of errors, the other thing, to make sure that this data is kind of very accurate, and all these concepts, which you'll find that one you're going to look at it anytime you hear about the aspect of financial models optimization. We're having conduct financial time series modeling. By now, I know you are very familiar when it comes to theory aspect to do with time series, but take that knowledge, take that theoretical knowledge that you have, now applying it practically. At that point, it's also quite wide. You should be looking at it. Now, the most interesting part under financial accounting is the aspect of accounting data visualization. And I think I'd mentioned that one earlier on when it comes to accounting data visualization. So these are an interesting part, because you're not only applying your knowledge as a financial accountant, but as a financial analyst. Because at this point, the whole concept of aspects of maybe just to give you on a nutshell what aspect of data visualization is, take it as a practice of maybe converting and presenting your data in the form of graphs and other pictorial forms. And remember, these graphs, you've obtained them from the data that you had. That is basically what you're terming it as data visualization. In a very simple context, we are looking at it in a manner whereby basically we're just converting and presenting our data in the form of graphs or other pictorial formats. And remember, at this point, for me to have it in a certain pictorial format, meaning that I'm having this data somewhere, so that I'll come and present it in a graph and all that. In addition to that, I'll have to analyze this data. So to the point that I'm explaining to someone who don't have any understanding when it comes to that data, he or she will be able to understand it very effectively. So you'll find that that is what will constitute the aspect to do with the aspect of data visualization, aspect of these building blocks and all these concepts. And that's where we'll also be talking of strategic dashboards. Maybe you get a chance to go and present probably something in a management, or rather in the board of directors. So at this point, like you have to convince the board, right? When it comes to the whole concept of when it comes to the whole concept of the analysis that you're having. And me as a board member, I'll be very, very interested to understand the key performance indicators, which will assist us to analyze our business clearly and also to come up with different strategies, which will give us a competitive advantage, compared to maybe our competitors. So that's why you are saying that it's really key for us to understand the whole of these concepts, because they will assist us. And as Sam said, that is not only on paper, but at this point, we are being taken now as financial consultants and advisors as well. So it is why I can't explain everything on this video. My good students. And that is in regard to aspect of financial accounting. We also have a management accounting part. And on this part of management accounting, you'll find that some of the key concepts, just to go briefly on the same, we're having costing estimation and products. This will be much easier. Only the area of scenario analysis, that is the area that you just have to be a very open-minded person, but this time around is practically, right? So you'll find that deriving function, that one is very, we have some tools which you normally tend to use when it comes to these concepts practically. That one will be much easier, but carrying out sensitivity and scenario analysis, that is an area that you just have to be good. But the good thing is that we have various tools which we'll be using to train you guys when it comes to understanding the whole of these concepts practically. Talk about break-even analysis. All of us, I know you're very familiar with the break-even analysis. You're having aspect of budgeting. Budgeting, in this case, we had talked about the concepts of flexible budget, and more so, these normally tend to affect us practically, because you'll find that anytime you are preparing your budget, right? Yes, you factor in the concepts of inflation and all this, but at times you'll find that more so when we are exporting or importing, we can't, at any given point, you can't predict, or rather you can't estimate the exchange ratios. And this is where I'll be having the concepts of exchange gains, exchange losses. At this point, in such scenarios, yes, this is a budget that I've prepared, maybe factor in the concepts of inflation and all the other elements, but there are other areas which I might have left out, or rather which at this point, we can't always predict at start. Like whatever that Molimo is talking about, the exchange rates, you know, they normally tend to fluctuate a lot, which at this point, you can't have a clear, you can't have a clear concepts on how they will change, but they normally tend to change. Like a good thing is, maybe a good example is what is happening now between Russia and Ukraine, right? You'll find that we never anticipated for such to happen. You'll find that this war, it has clearly tilted the world economy at a certain point. When it comes to oil, when it comes to the aspect of, when it comes to wheat, Ukraine is one of the largest exporter of wheat worldwide. Of course, you'll find that one, it has been kind of, it has affected us directly when it comes to the aspect of oil. And that's why maybe in Kenya, maybe some people will kind of relate it to the also political associations on that. But the fact is that you'll find that supply of oil is not the way it used to be before. And that's why you'll find that maybe all these other countries like US, they are trying to look at ways how they can fill in that gap because of the sanctions given to Russia and all the other concepts. The exchange rate is now kind of affected completely. By now, when you're talking, I think the exchange rate is almost 115 shillings compared to USD. So you'll find that there are a lot of things which you need to understand whenever you're talking of budgeting, right? So it's purely a whole different and a whole wide concepts, which you must also be able to understand it clearly. We're having computing tax payable. We're not talking of computing tax payable, of course. At this point, we are looking at it in the concept of, let me show you how we normally tend to work it out practically, just right now. to demonstrate how we'll be used, how we'll be working it out practically. So basically, this is what you're talking about. Maybe talking about the aspects of maybe we are talking of cooperation and probably preparation of wear and tear schedules. Check this one out. Check this one out. Where is my data here? Let me check the data that I can share with you, so that I want you guys to understand whenever you think of being practical, basically what do we mean? So in this case, this is what you have. This is what you have. This is just form of a draft. Of course, I won't disclose which company. You'll find that at this point, anytime you're preparing your draft, as probably you are preparing your management accounts, these are what you'll be having. When it comes to say like wear and tear allowance, when it comes to wear and tear allowance, of course, you'll be having this bit here. We know this one is 25%. So basically, you'll be having this component, where at this point, it will be very key for us to understand that the rates to provide for depreciation is always different compared to whatever that you're having in tax, because depreciation, this is a policy of the organization. They'll tend to decide which policy they should adopt. For tax purposes, we have the capital allowances, which they have been stipulated according to the Act. So advisable that even in your own companies, if at all you are to prepare your capital allowances, or rather your depreciation, for you to be in a very, very safer side, just make sure that they are in line with whatever that has been provided by the Act. So like you'll find that this is how we're going to prepare our aspect of our wear and tear allowance schedule, that is practically PPE and equipment, so that at this point, this is whatever that the organization is preparing in terms of their property, plant, and equipment movement schedule, which I believe in this case, you had studied it in your financial reporting or in your financial accounting. Now, for tax purposes, assuming you had used a different rate here, when you come to your draft accounts, as at the end of the day, you have to prepare your wear and tear allowance schedule. You'll have to prepare, look at this case and mark it clearly. The first case, this is PPE, property, plant, and equipment movement schedule, according to what the company has prepared based on the rates that they have adopted of depreciation, which at this point you're saying that the rates that the company might adopt might be different, probably the one that they have been provided under the Income Tax Act. So you'll find that if they were different, in this case, whenever we'll be preparing our tax component here, you'll find that as at the end of the day, I'll have to do a reconciliation now in our task here. That is, of course, I am very sorry for that. That's why I'm saying that we'll have to do it here again for the aspect of reconciliation and all the other elements, whereby I'm going to add back depreciation, then we less our capital allowance. But you'll find at this point, because you had used the same rate, that's why you'll find that they are the same. That's why you'll find that they are the same. So in this case, you'll find that all of these concepts is purely practical. Yes, we are using the concepts that we had earlier on to prepare what? To prepare our books practically. And that's a good thing, maybe what Kasneb did introducing this unit. So that was in regard to tax. We're also having financial management. Under financial management, this is the most interesting part, which you'll have to incorporate your knowledge of FM, but this time around doing it practically, either using the tools that you're going to give you guys, or using the Excel based, that is advanced Excel that you'll be having. Financial mathematics. So when we're talking about financial mathematics, what will it entail? At this point, you do have the concepts to do the evaluating of project using different techniques. I know you've studied ROI. I know you've studied the aspect of a payback period and a discounted payback period. I know you've discussed about the NPV, talk about internal rate of return. All these things, we'll be doing them in class, theoretical. But now the question will be, how can you apply these concepts practically? Like, I believe there's a video that I did for IRR, which I showed you guys a simple way on how you can do that on Excel. A very, very simple way on how you can do that, in Excel when you are doing financial management at some point. So you'll find that all of these concepts, you just have to grasp them and you just have to have them at your fingertips. So the first case here, I want us to kind of just do a summary. We're having, because at this point, if I go into details, we won't clear this. So if you're interested, of course, you can always join Darasa. More so whenever these things are starting, and knowing very well that it is a very new unit, which I believe probably the trainers who are supposed to train this, they should be having practical knowledge. Unfortunately, we know what normally happens in our industry, right? So we're having financial accounting and reporting, we're having management accounting. We do have a financial management part of it, whereby in this case for financial management, you just have to analyze all these concepts. You understanding how to evaluate projects, understanding the concepts of risk management in project evaluation, and the Data Act. We have the Data Act, which if you are interested, you can always share in your WhatsApp. So basically, this is what will entail practical concepts of, or rather the business and data analytics. It is a very interesting unit that if at all of us, we approach it with that interest. And more so, don't just approach it because you just want to do it for the purpose of you go and do exams and then that's it. No, just approach it with the mind that actually this thing is very practical. You'll find that you'll be in a very, very good position with you understanding all of these concepts, so that maybe when you get a chance to apply it practically, you'll be on an advantageous position. So mentioning all that, at this point, we had mentioned earlier on that is very key, and is a unit that has been introduced. Majority of you, and also probably majority of the colleges around, I know they are not yet equipped on this, but I can tell you for sure that this is a very interesting unit. So as I mentioned earlier on, wherever that you're going to study, wherever that you're going to train, even if it's not Darasa, even if you're not going to train with Darasa, because maybe some of you might say that, Mwalimu, you are doing that so that you can come on probably train with you. No, in this case, I'm just giving you guidance on what you should expect. But still the same, we are inviting you guys. For those who are willing, you can come and train with us. These are practical unit, business data and analytics, so that at the end of the day, we should be equipped with skills. We should be equipped with knowledge of this practical unit. There's no mistake that you can make. Maybe you go and study and you're taught normal basic Excel. Now, when you are in an exam situation, you just see your own things, right? So in that case, I'm inviting you guys. Our course for business data and analytics will start, or rather will commence from this April. So if you know you're a student who is doing advanced level, make sure that you get in touch with us. We're going to guide you on how we are going to hack this unit out, the concept of business and data analytics. Below this video, I've provided a form. Those who are interested to join us, you can fill in that form. This is purely for live virtual classes, because in Darasa we do have two packages. You have pre-recorded version and you have the live virtual classes. So for those who are interested to join, of course, you can fill in that form, and we will meet next. So that point, guys, I wish you all the best in all that you're doing, more so when it comes to these trainings, and I hope you'll be joining us soon. To that point, our semester will commence on 11th for the other courses, Kasneb, CPA, and ATD other courses which are not practical. So our classes, or rather our semester, will commence on 11th. So be sure to join us. To that point, guys, thank you for listening to Mwalimu, and see you in our next session. Thank you. Bye.